if you try to be a little smarter than everybody, if you try to be a better salesperson than everybody, if you try to be better prepared than everybody, you've got your best chance. Because if you don't do it and somebody else does, I have the saying, work like someone's trying to take it all away from you. I actually work like someone's spending 24 hours, working 24 hours to take it all away from you. And that's kind of the way I look at it.
What would you say is the number one reason why people fail?
Lack of brains, lack of effort.
Lack of brains, lack of effort.
Yeah, they don't do the work. They don't learn. When you walk in the room, when you start a business and you start to talk about somebody, you're never in a vacuum with no competition. Unless you're just extremely lucky. And if there's going to be competition, that means somebody else knows your business as well as you do when you get started. And if you walk into a competitive environment and they still know more about the business than you do and more about your customers, you're going to lose. But most people don't consider that. They don't do the work. They don't learn more about their industry. They don't know even about their business. And so you've got to put in the effort to know more about your industry than anybody else. And that's the brains part, and that's the effort part as well. Because look, if you're competing with me, you better know what you're doing. Otherwise, I'm going to kick your ass. And you're not going to outwork me. And so, the combination is usually what kills businesses early on more than anything.
You could, within a 5-10 minute interview, say this dude's not going to make it as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I can typically tell, right? I can tell by their passion. I can tell by their focus. I can tell by their preparation. There's a whole realm of things in any business. Here's the business you're in, and here's 1,000 things that influence whether or not you're going to be successful. Through my experience in businesses, I can put myself in his position and say, okay, here are 900 of the 1,000 things he has to be aware of, and then go through and ask. And by how many of those or her issues they've been able to address already, that kind of gives me a sense of how hard they're willing to work. And I can tell by the questions they ask me. So all I have to do is say, okay, what do you want to know? And, when they start saying, what should I do?
They ask you.
Yeah, and that's fine, right? And I want them to ask questions, but, people like to say, the only stupid questions are the ones you don't ask, and that's not right? Because the questions you ask tell whoever more about you than anything else you do. Because in particular, it tells me about your preparation. If you ask me questions about just basic things that you should have known and you should have down to a science, that's going to disqualify you almost more than anything. If you're not always learning, to this minute, if I'm not continuously learning, if I'm not just absorbing as much as I can absorb, someone else is going to kick my ass, right? So you talk about paranoia. The greatest source of your paranoia should be knowledge. If someone else knows more than you do, and if you're not learning, if you don't know how to learn, if you don't have a thirst for learning and acquiring information, you're SOL.
Do you think there needs to be a healthy level of paranoia?
Oh, absolutely.
There needs to be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always say, for every one of my businesses, I say, what would I do to kick my own ass? Right? So whatever business you have, there's somebody trying to put you out of business. There's somebody trying to take a bite out of your business. And it's better for you to figure out how they're going to do it rather than they do it. And so, yeah, that's being paranoid. And so you have to be paranoid. You have to anticipate other people's next moves. And you can't ever, downplay the competition. I was at a business plan competition this morning at a college, and they were kind of being dismissive of the competition. And so you can't ever do that. They're out there trying to take you down, and they're not just going to sit still. And if you're good, really, really good, you're going to inspire them to work even harder, faster, better. And so you have to be, very self-aware of what you're good at and what other people are good at. And, a healthy dose of paranoia makes a big difference. Is very helpful.
Let's transition to a different subject with college. You went to IU, right? Now, you got a lot of people that say, forget about school, drop out of school.
They're idiots.
So you think they're idiots. Tell me why.
If you're going to have and run a business, if you don't understand accounting, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Can't you hire a guy that knows how to run
But then they still have to communicate to you. Your accountant might tell you you're profitable, but your cash is going down, not understanding a breakdown. And when you don't,
do you think you need college to learn that?
Yeah, I think you do, right? Because it may not, for some people, look, if you're so self-motivated that you can take an online course in accounting and teach yourself everything, you're way ahead of the game anyways. But most people aren't. I don't care if you go to a community college and take accounting and spend $99 for the class. Just, spending the money forces you to be more obligated to do it. But accounting, finance, lesser extent marketing, sales, if the school offers that, these are all that's the language of business. And so while it's possible to teach yourself these things, and while it's possible to hire them, when you're starting your own company, you don't want to have to spend money hiring an accountant. Well, let me take that. If you've gone through all these classes, you probably don't have to hire a lawyer to incorporate, right? You can probably figure out yourself. And so your cost of opening up a business drops. But even more important than all that, that's the blocking and tackling. That's the language of business. You know, the thing I learned at Indiana that was more important than anything else, I learned how to learn. And learning became far more important to me, because the one certainty in business is that it's always going to be changing.
How does one entrepreneur increase the speed in areas that they can increase? There's certain things you can't control.
Speed in what way?
Speed of growing your business.
All right.
So how fast can I grow?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. You've got to know your own skill set, right? And you've got to know how that fits within your company's life cycle. You know, some companies are slow grind, and you just have to understand that, and you've just got to bide your time until it starts to click, and then grow with it quickly. You know, if you're trying to release a product that needs to be ubiquitous, you've got to go as fast as you can, and then, you know,
release a product,
yeah,
like a launch.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of people who will say, you know, perfection is the enemy of profitability, right? And that doesn't mean you have to wait till it's a perfect product. It really just depends on what the product is. That, you know, a barbershop, right? Is it an app? Is it a service? Is it a product? But, you know, the key is looking for the low hanging fruit. What customers are willing to write you a check or commit to it, you know, so that they're willing to integrate it into their daily lives or integrate it into their daily business. And so getting a commitment either through time or revenue is typically what I look for. And so if I can get a commitment, then I'm going to be able to learn. I'm going to see how they use it. Do they sustain usage? And then once I get the next one, you know, hopefully it came a little bit faster than the first one. Then I can ask for referrals, and then the next one, then the next one. And I just try to ramp it up. You know, when I bought the Mavs, we had no season ticket holder base. And so literally it was a matter of just putting a list of former season ticket holders and a white pages back then, you know, on my desk next to my phone and making phone calls.
You?
Yeah, me. Yeah, because if I'm not going to do it, how can I expect someone else to do it, right? So just get on the phone. Hey, this is Mark Cuban. I'm the new owner of the Dallas Mavericks. You know, I'd like to invite you back for again. It's not, though. This is my business.
You can't get regular sales guys or something to make those calls once they get to a quarter. You're a guy that's a billionaire. You're making those calls.
But that's all, you know, and that's fine and good, right? Because everybody's got their own goals, right? But still, I didn't want anybody at the Mavs to be able to say, well, he's not willing to do the work, right? There's, you know, if I walk around, I'm picking up all the papers. I'm not saying go get that picked up. I'm like, okay, that's trash. I'm picking it up. But in terms of speed of growth, it's really, you got to get that first customer first. And then when you get that first, what did you learn? Reiterate, get that next customer. And then hopefully as you learn more and more through the process, then the next one comes by even faster. You know, alluding to it earlier about entrepreneurs being born or built, you know, and I think I knew I was wired to be excited about business. How or why, I don't know. But, you know, and there's certain guys that have the genetics to jump out of the gym, right? There's certain guys, you know, that, you know, when they golf, they have the muscle memory and the discipline. You know, Dirk Nowitzki may not be the most talented guy in the NBA, but his discipline and his focus to do what's necessary to be successful, he's willing to do, and combine it with being 7 feet tall and being skilled, you know, it makes him an amazing basketball player. So it's understanding what your skill set is, finding the right place to use those skills, and then going for it. You know, will that make you $250,000? It depends if you pick the right industry. You know, I started my first business when I was 12. I was buying and selling baseball cards, buying and selling stamps, anything I could do to make money. I was hustling and trying to do. So I was into business, but I not so much where it was all my friends were into it with me, so they wouldn't know.
Baseball cards.
Yeah, baseball cards, you name it. I mean, I grew up in Pittsburgh. And so I would, probably even less than 12 years old, I would go out and buy a bunch of baseball cards that I collected. And I would package, I would say, okay, you're guaranteed to have a Pittsburgh Pirate in this package. And I would charge 3 times as much. And I'd set up on this park bench down in the park down in Scott Township where I grew up. And I'd have these little sales. And it was great. I made money. And I mean, it was, you know, and I learned as much about business when I was 9, 10, and 12 as I learned any other time.
Let's go. Mark Cuban, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Oof, that looks blurry. Let me clean that. All right, fam. But if everybody can hear me, let me just clean this camera real quick. Just looks very blurry. Okay, there we go. That looks so much better. What's up, familia? Grand Rising and happy Wednesday. Super excited to be here on this call with each and every single one of you guys. Let me fix the lighting right here. There you go. Man, now that I think about it, man, I've done mornings with Nano in so many different places and houses. Man, if I really think about it, man, I've done mornings with Nano in easily 30, 40 different locations, probably even more, man, because, we've traveled all around the world, and we just grateful, and I'm super super excited to be here with all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for hopping on this beautiful Wednesday morning. It is a beautiful day for us to grow. It's a beautiful day for us to learn, and it's just always a pleasure whenever we get a chance to wake up, serve our purpose, become a better version of ourselves, learn new ideas, and just put ourselves in a position where we can elevate to new levels. And this is what it's all about, fam. And I'm excited for today. I have a good training for you guys that I think everybody here can get a lot from. It was a training that, helped me out a lot back in the days, that helped me develop into the person that, I am today, and still helping me develop into the person that I want to be in the future. So really looking forward to it. It's been a great time in Chicago. Yesterday, we had a great time with the team, meet and greet at Topgolf. Today we have a training here and then event tomorrow. So just looking forward to everything, guys. Everything has been amazing. My sis Corinne is on here. Let's go. That's amazing. And it's always such a fulfillment to be able to jump on these calls and know that everybody is getting impacted, know that everybody's growing and becoming a better version of themselves. So I thank you every single day for this. Fam, let's get this call started with some gratitude so we could get right into today's topic, so I could finish up early today. I know yesterday we went a little bit over, so I don't want to do that today because I actually got to go meet people for some breakfast this morning. So what is one thing that you guys are grateful for this morning? Type it in the chat box. I am grateful for God. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for my mind, my body, and my spirit. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for my mom, my dad, my little brother. I'm grateful for my goddaughter, Dariana. I'm grateful for my team. I'm grateful for the leaders within my organization. I'm extremely grateful for just all the opportunities that I've gotten to become a better version of myself. I'm grateful for the growth. I'm grateful for the mentorship in my life. I'm grateful for the I Am Academy family. I'm grateful for the whole Mornings with Nano community. Every single one of you guys that hops on these calls, whether you're a part of my business, whether you're a part of the company I'm a part of, whether you're a part of another company, whether you're just hopping on and you just want to learn from me and somebody recommended this call to you, right? Extremely grateful for every single one of you guys that jumps on this call. Thank you guys for the support, for the love, for sharing it with a friend or a family. Grateful for my mentor Nano closing my 3 ways, facts, and many more to come, man. But just extremely grateful, guys, and I'm looking forward for it. My brother Adam, grateful for you, man. My creative director, always looking out for me, bro. Super blessed and grateful for you. And let's get into today's call. I'm excited. I really am excited for today's call. And I wanted to talk about self-image today. I wanted to talk about self-image because I think that self-image is something that it's important to talk about, because self-image is literally one of the keys to your success. Okay. And at the end of the day, unless you fix your self image, you'll never become the person that you actually want to come. So today we're going to go over some self image basics. Okay. Self image basics. Okay. I want you guys to take some notes on this. I want you guys to really, hear the message that I'm going to share with you guys here today. This was a message that was shared with me a couple years ago. I would say about 3 years ago, it was shared with me. And man, when I tell you how valuable and how much I needed that training at the time, it was game changing for me. So I hope that, today this training can do something for some of you. The same way that it did something for me a few years ago, I hope that it can do it for you. Okay. So today we're going to be going over self-image basics. Okay. Now, let's talk about something really quick. There is only two ways that you're seen. All right. Write this down. There's only two ways you're seen. Okay. Number one is how you view yourself. And number two is how the world sees you. Okay. So you're seen two ways. The way you view yourself, number one. And number two is how the world sees you. I'm going to get into some deep stuff. So I need you guys to pay attention to me here because this is going to get really, really good here. So there's two ways that we're seen. Number one, we said, is how we view ourselves. Now, how we view ourselves is very important. Okay. It's probably the most important because the way that you view yourself will determine the reality that you live. Okay. Write that down. The way you view yourself, the way you view yourself will determine the reality that you live. So if you view yourself as a powerful, independent, strong woman, then that's what you would be. And for my men, same thing. If you see yourself as a powerful, independent, and strong man, and you live in abundance and everything works in your favor, then that's what you would be. That's the reality that you would live. Now, if you see yourself as someone who is struggling financially, always stressed, things never work in your favor, things seem never to work out for you, right? Then that will be the reality that you live because how you see yourself is how everybody else will see you. So there is no two without one. Okay, if that makes sense. We said that there's two ways for us to view ourselves, right? The way that we see ourselves and the world and the way the world sees us. Well, the way that we see us, the way that we see me, the way I see me is how the world sees me. Okay? It's how the world sees me. So, for example, okay, the way that I know when I'm in alignment with the way I'm viewing myself is by the way other people perceive me. So, for example, I've had multiple people come up to me and tell me, yo, Nano, you remind me of my millionaire friends. Yo, you look like money. You look like a seven-figure earner. You look like a chairman elite. You look like someone who's already vibrating at that high level. Okay. When people come up to me and tell me these things, like, yes, I'm like happy, I'm excited. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, Nano, confirmation. You're viewing yourself the right way because now the world is starting to see you as such. So when those things start to happen for me, I'm like, wow, this is actually working because in my mind, I see myself as that seven-figure earner. I know that's my next goal. I know my next goal is seven figures. I've been talking about seven figures. I've been talking about moving into a seven-figure condo. I've been, wanting to drive a seven-figure, car. I want to be able to pay taxes like a seven-figure earner. So I'm thinking about this. And then you have people around you, okay, that come up to you and give you these small little confirmations by the things that they say to you about you. And that's when you know that your self-image is changing. That's when you know that the energy that you are putting out, okay, is powerful. It's in alignment with your desires. And it's just a confirmation to keep doing what you're doing, okay? But let me tell you guys the other side. There's been times when people have came up to me and be like, yo, Nano, you know what, bro? You look stressed, bro. You look like, you're going through something. You look like, like things is not working in your favor right now. Is everything okay? Or are you okay right now? Is there something that you need to talk to me about? And then that's also a confirmation that the energy that I'm putting out is not the right one. Because if someone is coming up to me and telling me, yo, Nano, you look stressed, bro. Is everything okay with you, bro? You look tired. You look like, something is going on in your life. Is there something that you want to talk to me about? You see, now I can tell by the response of someone else that the world is viewing me as a stressed out individual, that nothing is working in his favor right now. So a lot of the reasons why you got to work on your self-image and you got to understand the two different types of it is because the way you view yourself is going to be the way the world views you. And the way you know that you're viewing yourself as the right person is based off of how the world is seeing you. Okay. If you get confirmations from other people around you about what they think about you, how they're viewing you, how they see you, and all of these things, there's a pretty good chance, okay, that you are looking at yourself the same exact way. There's a pretty good chance that, you're looking at yourself the same way, because let me give you guys something that happened to me in the past, okay? Someone once told me, Nano, you attract who you are into your business. And for some reason, I couldn't accept that. I was like, wait, nah, bro. I'm a savage, and I'm somebody that I work hard and so on and so forth, and I'm disciplined and I'm organized, and obviously I wasn't all of those things, but my ego kind of got in the way. And someone told me, Nano, you attract who you are into your business. And I started to realize when I started to look around, and when I actually when there was nobody around, I started to look around, and I'm like, man, it's true. I am attracting who I am into my business, because I had to do a real realization. I had to do kind of like a self-audit. I had to like sit down and be honest with myself. I'm like, Nano, are you really working hard? Because remember, what you do good, the people in your business will only do half as good. Okay. And what you do bad, the people in your business will do twice as bad. So take that into account really quick. Listen to it one more time. What you do good, the people that you attract into your business will only do it half as good. So whatever you're good at, the people that you attract into your business will only do it half as good. All right. And the things that you're doing bad, people will do it twice as bad. So when I got put that in perspective, I'm like, okay, now this makes a lot of sense, because yes, I'm working hard, but I know I could be working harder. So that means that I'm attracting people into my business that are working half as hard as I'm working, which is barely not that hard, because I was barely working that hard. Okay. My discipline wasn't on point. So I'm going to attract people into my business that are half as disciplined, that their discipline is not going to be that good. I'm not the most organized person. Okay. So I'm going to attract people that are not as organized as me. And then on top of that, at the time, I didn't have a morning routine. At the time, I wasn't passionate about personal development. Okay. I was somebody that, lacked confidence in myself. I lacked belief. So think about it. These are the things that I'm doing bad. I lack belief. So I'm going to attract people into my business that are twice as bad at believing in themselves. Because whatever I do bad, I'm going to attract people that do it twice as bad. Because that's how it works. And I started to see it, and I started to look around at the time, the people in the business and the people that I was attracting. And I was like, yo, this is real. This is really, really real. Like, I am attracting people into my business, and they were great people. They weren't bad people, but they did lack belief in themselves. They did lack confidence. They did have a lot of self-doubt, trauma, and they weren't as hard workers, and they weren't as disciplined, and they weren't as relentless of an attitude. And then I realized that in order for me to change the people that were entering my life, I had to change me first. So I had somebody give me an exercise, and they said, Nano, name the top 7 characteristics of the person you want to become. And I want you guys to take this time to do it really quick. All right. What are the top 7 characteristics of the person you want to become? Think of the person you're going to be, not even at the end of 2022. Think about the millionaire version of yourself, right? Think of the best version of you. Who is the best version of CJ, the best version of Melissa, the best version of Eunice, the best version of Becky, the best version of Tiara, right? I want you guys to think of the best version of yourself and think of the characteristics that that person has. As a matter of fact, do me a favor, okay? What are some of the characteristics that the best version of yourself has? Write them down in the chat box for me. What are some of the characteristics that that individual has? Okay, I want to know. I want to give you guys some ideas of what it is. Okay, so Overachiever King said loyal, trustworthy, consistent, compassionate, family driven, a self master, humble, hardworking, organized, persistent, disciplined, dependable, forgiving, strong integrity, humble and open minded, self motivated, loving, giving, fearless, obedient, devoted, mindset strong, confident, a servant leader, righteous, accountable. Okay. So what I did was I sat down and like what you guys are writing down, I started to write those things down. Okay. And I remember writing down 7 things. Okay. 7 characteristics of the best version of Nano. Okay. One of them was, extremely hard worker. Okay. Another one was that I was, God centered. I was organized. Okay. If I remember good, self-disciplined. And I sat there and I wrote down the 7 things, the top 7. I obviously wrote down a bunch. So what I did was I actually wrote down like 10, 11, or 12, characteristics, but I took like the top 7 that I believe described me the best. Okay. So what I would do is describe the best version of yourself. Think of who the best version of yourself is. Who is that best version of Nano? Okay. Write down all the characteristics that they have. He's disciplined, successful, integrity, this, that, God-fearing, spiritual, forgiving, all of these things. And then take the top 7 characteristics from that person, the top 7, and then put them on a piece of paper. And then one by one, check them off based off of if you are meeting those requirements. Okay, I want you to do that. I want you to sit down and be like, okay, am I hardworking like the best version of myself? Okay, if one of the characteristics was you're an extremely hard worker, are you extremely hardworking right now? Okay, are you aligned with that person in terms of this characteristic? All right. Self-discipline. Okay. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. Okay. Are you somebody right now that is giving yourself a command and following it? Are you that person right now? And what you want to do is you want to sit down and you want to see if you are meeting the requirements to the person that you want to be right now. Because in order for you to become the best version of yourself, you need to develop those characteristics first. You see, the person that I am today, I was developing those characteristics 3 years ago. I said the 6-figure version of Nano works hard. The six-figure version of Nano is disciplined. The 6-figure version of Nano is a man of his word. The 6-figure version of Nano is someone who is starting to build a relationship with God or has that relationship with God. But at the time, I didn't have that relationship with God. You see how that works? So when I started to do this, when I did this and I was, coming up in the journey and I wanted to become a 6-figure version of myself, I would think about who is the 6-figure version of Nano. And I would see the Nano that you guys see right now. I would see this Nano and I would be like, yo, this Nano is hardworking. Okay, this Nano is disciplined. This Nano is God-fearing. This Nano is relentless. This Nano is willing to make sacrifices. This Nano is super spiritual. And when I sit down and I think about it, and I wish I could find the piece of paper, it's in one of my journals. And I'm gonna look for it when I get back home, and I'm gonna remind you guys of this because I remember the list that I made, and then I remember working to become that. I said, okay, I need to be extremely hardworking, which means I gotta work every single day, Monday through Saturday at least. I gotta work. I gotta be disciplined. I gotta keep my word on the things that I said I'm gonna do. And I started to work on those things consciously. I was consciously working on these things. I'm like, yo, I said I was going to get a certain amount of people to join my business this month. I got to make that happen. I said I was going to start going to the gym. I'm going to start doing that. I said I was going to wake up at this time. I'm going to wake up at this time. So I started to develop those qualities. I said I was going to build a relationship with God. So I started to do that. Okay. At the time, I didn't have as close as a relationship, but today I do. You see how that works? Before, I didn't even talk about, God on my calls. Now I do because I started to build that relationship. You see how that all works? So I started to become that version of myself. I started to work on my self-image, me. I had to see myself as who I wanted to be and then develop those qualities now. Because like I always teach and I always remind you guys, you don't attract what you want. What do you attract, guys? Type it in the chat box. If you don't attract what you want, what do you attract? Finish it for me in the chat if you know. If we don't attract what we want, what do we attract? We attract who we are. You attract who you are. Okay? You attract who you are. So I didn't attract this. Yes, Nano wanted 6 figures. I didn't attract the fact that I wanted 6 figures. I attracted who I was, which was the 6-figure version of Nano. Don't let that go over your head because that does go over your head a lot. It goes over a lot of people's heads. A lot of people tend to forget that, yes, we want these things, but you're going to attract who you are first. And the person that you are is who deserves those things. You see how that works? So a lot of the times we focus too much on, I want 6 figures. I want this rank. I want this car. I want this goal. And that's cool. You want that. But instead of focusing on the material or the object itself, how about you focus on becoming the person that deserves that goal? Because sometimes what we tend to do is we tend to do things backwards. We focus on what we want instead of focusing on who we need to become. There's a difference. You see the difference? There's a difference in focusing on what you want and a difference in focusing on who you need to become to deserve what you want. You see, too many people focus on on what they want. I want this car. I want this rank. I want this amount of money. I want this. I want that. And what tends to happen is this, and this is where your self-image starts to be, and this is where your self-image starts to get impacted and it starts to take a hit because this happened to me. I would say, Nano, I want to be a 6-figure earner. And then I would open up my bank account and my bank account would be overdrafted. My self-image would take a hit right there. My self-image would take a massive hit there. My belief would go down. My confidence would go down. I'm like, how am I going to be a 6-figure earner? Look at my bank account, bro. How am I going to be a 6-figure earner? I haven't even been able to pay the bills. My account is overdrafted. My credit is going down. I don't have money to buy food. How can I want 6 figures though. You got to think about it. I want the 6 figures though. So I want 6 figures and I'm focused on these 6 figures, but I can't get it for some reason. Because my focus is on what I want, and what I want is so far. That's the thing. Some of the goals that you guys want, They are so far from your vision, from, you know, like they call it your, man, I forgot the name of that. If somebody can help me with that. But it's so far from what you can see. You can't even see that far yet because you're right here and you're like, Nano, this is so far off your radar screen. There it is. It's so far off your radar. Thank you, Carlos. It's so far off your radar. It's not in your radar yet. Okay. So what tends to happen is, because it's not in your radar, it's so hard for you to believe that you can even get that far. So your self-image now is taking a hit. You're losing confidence. You're losing belief. Okay, because you're so focused on this goal, on this want that is not even on your radar screen yet. You can't even see it. So think about this, guys. And I'm gonna ask you guys this question. How can you believe in something that you truly cannot see yet? Think about that. How can you believe in something that you cannot yet see? How? It's hard. Trust me, it's hard to believe in something that you can't even see it yet. It's so hard to do that. And the only way you could is through what? Through faith. Believing in the unseen. But the problem is, let me tell you guys this now. The problem is that you got to build that faith. You see? That's something that you got to build. That's something that what? You need to have as a characteristic. You got to know how to build that faith, believing in the unseen. Okay? So what happened was I focused on what I wanted. Yes, it didn't work for me. I said, you know what, Nano? Shift your focus from what you want to who you got to become now, Nano. Forget about what you want. We know you want that. We know you want 6 figures. We know you want that. Okay? And at the time, I didn't have the faith, to be honest. I didn't have the faith to believe that I can get it. Because remember, faith is something that you build up too. Okay? You can say, yeah, Nano, I have all the faith in the world that I'm gonna go make 6 figures. And in reality, you still can't. You know how many people I know that had the faith that they were gonna go and make 6 figures, and today they're not making 6 figures. So it's not about having faith or saying that you have faith. It's about building that faith, right? Through small daily goals, small weekly and monthly goals being accomplished that builds that faith up so that you can believe more in the unseen. Okay. So what I did was I shifted my focus. Okay. Remember what we said, where attention goes, energy flows. Okay. Because my attention was focused on what I wanted, energy was going that way. But the thing was that the energy wasn't good because I didn't really believe I can get that yet. So I shifted my focus to what? Who I need to become. So my attention focused now on what I need to become. My attention is here and energy is going to flow there. So now all of my energy was dedicated to who Nano had to become. Nano had to become a hardworking person, disciplined, God-fearing, faithful, loyal. These certain qualities, and I developed them. You know, one of the qualities that, you know, I developed was loyalty for me. You know, and for me, I think loyalty is so key because, you know, in these businesses, you tend to join these businesses and the word loyalty is very rare. And I would realize that because, you know, people are people. You know, at the end of the day, you know, this stuff is not for everybody, and I get it. But I used to see the way that, you know, people would do other people, and the way people would just, you know, think about it. We're trying to help people here, you know, and not everybody's perfect, and I get it. But people would just do people so wrong and just walk off on people and, you know, never call them, never hit them up, never do anything. And I would be like, man, that's tough. I never want to do that, you know, and still do. And they're still going to do it. And it's never going to stop because it's just, it's people in general. But I always said, Matt, no matter what happens, I will never quit. That was something that, was installed inside of me. I said, Nano, I made a commitment to myself. I said, Nano, it doesn't matter how hard it gets. It doesn't matter how many times you have to rebuild it. It doesn't matter if none of your friends want to help you, if your family doesn't want to help you. It doesn't even matter if your mentors doesn't want to help you. You're never going to quit. And I installed that into my mind very early on. I told myself that I would never quit this business at all because this is what I love to do. It didn't matter. Think about it. When I came into this, the person that enrolled me into this business signed me up, threw me to the curb, told me to figure it out. I didn't have no mentorship until 2 years into the game. I didn't have no one helping me. I didn't have no guidance. I didn't have nothing at all. None of my friends believed in me. My family didn't believe in me. My relationship at the time didn't believe in me. Nobody, nothing at the time believed. And it was hard for me not to quit something where everybody else was doubting me in. But what I realized was that it was that inner work, what I just said. It was me focusing on who I had to become. And this is why I am so hard on you guys. And I remind you guys so much about this on a day-to-day basis. Because at the end of the day, remember, guys, it's not about what you get. It's about who you become. Are you truly working on becoming the best version of yourself? Are you truly developing those skills? Are you truly developing those characteristics of the best version of yourself? Right? Who is the best version of KD? How does he act? How does he speak? How does he talk? How does he dress? Right? Who's the best version of Jackie? Okay. How does Jackie speak? How does Jackie talk? Right? How does she deal with problems? Right? This is key. That was something I had to do. Like, yo, how does Nano deal with problems in his life? How does the best version of Nano deal with problems? And I would think, okay, the best version of Nano for sure is somebody that responds, doesn't react. So I knew that in order for me to become the best version of Nano, I needed to learn how to respond to situations and not react to situations. Because the best version of myself is a good responder, not a good reactor. You see how that works? So now when I was put in a situation where I had to react or respond, I had to choose response because I was working to become the best version of Nano. I didn't want to become the same version because if I stayed the same version of Nano, my results would stay the same. So every day was a test. Every day was a test. Every single day was a test because situations are in your life daily. So daily I had to be like, okay, the best version of Nano is a responder, not a reactor. He thinks logically. He doesn't think emotionally. So when a situation would arise, and it was a situation where it was either choosing to be emotional or choosing to be logic. Even though I wanted to be emotional so bad, okay, what's the logical way to go about this? Even though the old version of me would have been emotional about that, and I would have reacted towards it, I had to stop myself and be like, well, the best version of Nano would respond to this. And that's the test, Queen. That's the test right there. These are the tests that come into your life to see if you are becoming that person that you actually say you want to be. That's the key, because now when I become that person, I deserve that goal. These are the keys. What I'm teaching you guys right now, these are the real keys. These are the real keys. You say the best version of yourself is disciplined and goes to the gym every day. But you don't go to the gym now, so you can never become the best version of yourself that deserves that goal because you're stuck right here. It'll never work. Guys, I'm telling you, it will never work. Never, ever, ever work. Sit down and actually think about that. How would that work? Nano's best version of himself loves the gym, as an example. He goes to the gym. He's in the best shape of his life. But then Nano today doesn't go to the gym, is not in the best shape of his life, doesn't eat the right foods. I'm not in alignment. Look, this is Nano here. This is the best version of Nano. Only the best version of Nano can get the goal that's over here. Remember, best version, goal. Best version, goal. Best version, goal. It has to be in alignment at the top. If you're down here, you can't get a goal that's up here if you're down here. You understand what I'm saying? You have to become, this person needs to become this person. And then when you become this person, you become the goal. That's how it works. It doesn't work the other way around. Don't think that this person can attract this goal. It'll never happen. Okay? It's not in the right frequency. It's not in the right alignment with everything. This version of yourself, who we are right now, we got to become this person. Right now, like I keep telling you guys, the goal is now I'm working to become the 7-figure version of Nano. So the 7-figure version of Nano is this person right here. Right now I'm here. Okay. So the same way that you guys are working on this, I'm working on it, but on a different level. So I don't ever want you guys to feel like, damn, man, Nano is so ahead of us. No, we're working on the same things, just on a different level, right? Some of you guys are at level 2, level 3, level 4. You know, I'm just a few levels ahead of y'all, level 5, 6, or 7. You know, I'm just a few, but it's good because I'm here to teach you guys how I've gotten to level 7. Some of you guys, I'm trying to walk you guys through level 4s, level 5s, helping you guys through these first few chapters so that then you guys can get to the level that I'm at and I can help you guys through these levels. So it's always good to have somebody ahead of you. Okay. For example, having my mentor Matt ahead of me is so important to me because he shows me how much I have to grow. Like yesterday, he sends a message to the chat. I wish he was on this call so he could hear this. And he sent this message to this chat, and it was a game plan of, you know, the things that we got to do over the next 4 weeks. He sent it to, you know, a group of individuals. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading this, the game plan, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, bam, 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 and the detail behind everything and all of this. And I'm reading this and I'm like, you ever read something and you can feel how intentional they were when they wrote it as you're reading it? So I'm reading this and I'm like, yo, there's so much intention behind every single word in this plan. And I sat there and I realized, I'm like, yo, this is why he's the number 3 income earner in all of network marketing. This is why right here, as I'm reading it, he gave me a confirmation as to why he is the number 3 income earner in all of network marketing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow. Like, yo, that was so powerful to read. Like, I've never set up a game plan for somebody like this. Like the way he put that game plan down, he showed me how much I still needed to work to become even close to what he's become, even close to what he already is. I'm like, yo, I'm so grateful to have you as a mentor. Like, I've always been grateful for him, but he just reminded me how much more grateful I am to have somebody of that magnitude that mentors me. That's my brother. You know, I don't say it to brag, but you know, this is my family, bro. Like, you know, I go on family vacations with these individuals, and he is my personal mentor, and he is the number 3 income earner in all of network marketing. Network marketing has over 150 million people in it. So think about it. Out of 150 million people, he's the number 3. And that's my personal mentor. He's my right hand, like right here. I'm under his wing. Like if I'm right here under his wing, like I'm his mentee. And to have that kind of mentorship and to have that kind of access makes me grateful because it makes me realize how much I have to grow to even become the top 10 income earner of network marketing. And those are things that are needed because you want to see who you got to become. Now he just raised the bar for me. That's why I talk to people sometimes and people think that I'm bragging. And sometimes I have to apologize to people when I tell people like what my goals are, because people think that I'm bragging. I'm telling people like, yo, like, $100,000 a month, this, that, houses here, 3 different houses here. But it's because my goals have expanded so much due to the people that I've surrounded myself with. It's not me being arrogant or me, trying to belittle anybody. It's just $60,000 a year isn't money to me anymore. That's, my friends make $60,000 a week. I used to think that $60,000, bro, where I grew up, if you make $60K a year, you made it. You see how that works? Where I grew up at, if you make 60, 70, 80K, you made it. Yo, you made it. You lit. Okay. But then I met people that make 60, 70, 80K a week. And then I was like, damn, I got to think bigger. Because I used to think that, 6 figures a year was good until I met people that make 6 figures a week, 6 figures a month. And then I'm like, man, I got to think bigger. I got to think on what I need to do to become that person so that then I can attract those goals. Remember, don't focus on what you want. Focus on who you got to become. That is the key. Okay, that is the true key. That is the true key. And understand that how you view yourself is how people are going to view you. And for my leaders, as a matter of fact, put a 1 in the chat box on this call if you are a leader of an organization, for example. 6 figures is play money for them. It really is, Melissa. And it's crazy that you say that, but it really is. I've experienced them really play with 6 figures in front of me. And I'm like, yo, money is different. Like the way we look at $100, $200, $300 is the way they look at $100,000, $200,000, right? But for example, my people who are leaders, everybody's dropping ones on these calls, right? You got to remember, how you view yourself is how your team is going to view you. Your team is going to do what you do, not what you say. So as leaders, we have to lead by examples. Okay? If you're afraid to promote your business, your team will be afraid to promote their business. If you are not getting people in your business, your team is not going to get people in the business. If you're not promoting to the next event, your team is not going to promote to the next event. If you're not trading with your team is not going to trade, right? If you're not putting yourself on the camera, going live, doing social media and posting on social media, your team is not going to do it. Remember, as a leader, we have a huge responsibility to be examples for our people. And a lot of the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis, believe it or not, they're making a massive, massive impact on others. Because every day that you decide not to wake up and put the work in, that was one day that one of your leaders or one of the people in your business looked at you and said, oh, they're not working today, I'm not going to work either. Oh, this person didn't post on social media today, so I'm not going to post on social media today. This person has a month without having anyone join his business. What do I need to have anyone join my business for? He's not doing it, I'm not going to do it. I'm telling you, it's how it works. As a leader, I've seen it happen. I've seen leaders in my organization turn up whenever I turn up. And I've seen leaders in my business slow down when I slow down. Do I like it? I don't like it, to be honest. I don't think that nobody should slow down for anybody. But it happens. I'm not like that. I don't have that characteristic. Mac, bro, trust me, there's been times when when Matt was going through something and he wasn't doing no work, no trainings. He was just going through his own personal stuff. He wasn't doing anything. But guess what? I still worked my ass off. I didn't stop. I knew that it was temporary. And I know that people go through phases. Just because my leader stopped doesn't mean I'm going to stop. But there's people that are like that, though. For some reason, there's people that if you stop, they'll stop. And it can't be like that. I have leaders in my organization that they stop if I stop, but I have some that never stop. They don't care if Nano's on the road. They don't care if Nano's on tour, if Nano's, God forbid, sick or whatever. They're going to keep going because they're not going to base their movements off my movements. But as a leader, these are things that do happen. These are things that do happen. And we got to understand this as well. Don't ever allow the things that people have to say about you to stop you from going forward. The last thing I'm going to say is this before we go. The way people sometimes have this way of perceiving you, or the way that they talk about you, or the way that they say things about you. Sometimes what happens is our self-image is created based off other people's opinions and views of us. Sometimes we don't have a view of ourselves, so we accept the way others view us because people are not aware of this. So if somebody views you as a failure, as someone who lacks confidence, as a bad speaker, as a whatever it is, what tends to happen is we are accepting the fears and the insecurities of other people and making them our reality. You don't know how many people I know today that won't do certain things based off of the judgment or the things that people have said about them. I know people who are still stuck in the same exact place as they were 3 years ago because of an opinion that somebody gave them that they accepted into their reality, and it has been their reality since then. That's the realest thing that you guys, there's people that right now that because they were told once that they were ugly or that they shouldn't do this business and they were made fun of because they stuttered when they spoke or whatever it was. There's people today that have not lived up to their potential and what they can possibly do based off of that one opinion. Somebody told them once, Nano, you're a bad speaker. Bro, that used to be me. People used to tell me, Nano, you speak funny. You have an accent. You speak funny when you speak. And you know what? For a long time back then, when I did have my heavy accent, okay, maybe now it's not as heavy and maybe now it's improved a lot more. But back then I did have an accent when I speak because Spanish was my first language. I didn't learn English till 2nd or 3rd grade. So I always had had that strong, I had a low key of a strong accent when I spoke in English. And, I would be scared to speak because of that one time that one guy, I remember who it is too. One person, one of my friends at the time, he was like, bro, you need to stop speaking, loud, bro. You have an accent and like, you sound funny when you speak. And at the time, I laughed about it. I'm like, yo, chill, bro. Like, but it hit me because I accepted it. I low-key accepted it. And then in the back of my mind, after, I laughed it off, I'm like, damn, do I speak funny? And then, it was so funny because what I did was I voice recorded myself, right? I voice recorded myself, okay, speaking so I can hear my accent. And then I heard it and I was like, I mean, it's not that bad, but I can see where they're coming from. And for a while, I really kind of put myself in a corner and I didn't want to speak. And then it's funny because in college, so this happened to me in high school. Then in college, another one of my college teammates reminded me of it when I was trying to enroll for a job. I remember he was like, bro, you have a heavy Spanish accent. We'll see if they like you. You know, and this was in college. This was a few years ago. When I was in college, he was like, yo, let's see if they like you. Your accent is heavy and all of this. And I'm like, you know what's funny? I never even did the interview. That's how fearful I was of doing the interview. And it was funny because that job was going to pay me $80K to start. So I went to a good school. So I was going to be selling cybersecurity. I was going to be selling cybersecurity in English and in Spanish. And that's the job that they were going to offer me. As I think base salary was like 75 with commissions and everything. He told me by the end of the year, I'd make anywhere from $85,000, you know, selling cybersecurity. That's what Nano was going to do coming out of college. And, you know, my lack of belief in myself and the lack of belief in, you know, my speaking ability. Yeah, I didn't even do the interview. Because I was fearful of people making fun of my accent and the way that I spoke and all of these things, because I had accepted that idea into my mind years ago, and it was still stuck, and I was being reminded of it. And then look, I had to break that. So I say that to you guys to show you that I've been through similar things that you guys are going through, and similar things that you may have accepted in the past, that maybe now you need to break out of that. And you need to go and speak, and you need to go and do those things that others didn't believe in you before, but now you do. Look, now I speak on stages in front of 10,000 people in English and in Spanish. But if I would have allowed those limiting beliefs, those doubts, those fears, those things that those people had to say about me to stay with me, Mornings with Nano wouldn't even be a thing. Look at how much people I would have stopped from growing just because I accepted a opinion a few years ago. Think about that. I remember when you affirmed that you would speak in front of thousands of people, and it's true. Vivian's been here since 2020, so she knows. I used to talk about this stuff all the time when there was nobody on these calls. And these are the things that tend to happen. And even back then, when I started Mornings with Nano, for those who know, back then in 2019, you know, my speaking wasn't that good. I go back to some of the videos that, you know, I've done in the past, and it wasn't that good. But guess what, guys? I kept working on me. And that's the message that I have for you guys when it comes to self-image basics. It's not about what you want, it's about who you become. Are you becoming the best version of Jasmine, the best version of Hurricane, the best version of Billionaire's Path, the best version of Tiffany, the best version of Anne Marie? Is that what you're working on? Because if you're working towards what you want, you're working in the wrong direction. You need to work towards who you want to become. What characteristics does that person have? What characteristics does that person, you know, embody? And start to develop that every day. Develop it every day. And by law, now, when you develop yourself into that person, now you are deserving of that goal when you stay and you become that person long enough. So think about the process that you have. Everybody here has a process that they have to follow. So think about this now. So you guys can think about how much work we actually still have to do. This is who we want to become. This is who we are right here. Okay. This person right here needs to work every day to become this person. Okay. Now, when you develop the qualities of this person right here, you need to stay this person long enough until you become the goal. So think about how much work you still got to do. You still need to become this person. You need to work every day to become this person. And then when you become that person, you have to become this person, and then you have to stay that person long enough until your goal is deserving of what you want. So I still have a lot of work to do before I become the 7-figure version of Nano. I still have months and months and months of work to become the 7-figure version of Nano. Months of work. And then on top of that, I have months of work to get to who I want to be. And then I have months of staying that person to attract what I want. So it takes time, fam. It takes time. It may take you all of 2020, all of 2023 to become that 6-figure version of yourself. And that's okay. Just trust the process. It may take you 6 months. It all depends on how much work you put in and how intentional you are on a day-to-day basis with your morning routine. Who do you want to become? Become that person. I'm telling you guys, when I learned this, this was one of the things that changed everything for me. It was like one of those trainings that I was paying attention to, and I actually it was like one of those, those trainings that you were like, this is something I'm going to apply. You ever hopped off a training and you're like, yo, I'm going to apply this for sure. That was one of those trainings for me. I said, I hopped off the call and I said, I'm applying this for sure. I sat down, I wrote down the characteristics of the 6-figure version of Nano. Boom, 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 boom. I took the top 7 and I started to work on them daily. I made it a goal. I stopped focusing on 6 figures. I said, yo, that's going to happen. Let me focus on who I got to become. I need to become disciplined. I got to become a man of my word. I got to become a God-fearing individual. I got to be organized. I got to be this. And every day I would work on those things. Bang, 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 bang. Then I became that. And when you become it because you realize that you've developed all the qualities. Damn, you're like, yo, my emotional intelligence is on point. I'm working hard every day. I'm keeping my word on everything I'm saying I'm going to do. Like, you'll know. When they say when you'll know. And then when you get there now is staying there long enough until the goal happens. Because now you're deserving. You became it, but now it's about becoming deserving. That's the trick. Because you can become it and lose it. So it's about becoming it and then deserving it. And how do you deserve it? By staying that person for a long period of time. This is life-changing for sure. This information, if applied, can change your life. Guaranteed. Because still to this day, I am applying the same information that I just taught you guys to become a 7-figure earner. And that's what I'm going to apply to become an 8-figure earner. And that's what I'm going to apply to become a 9-figure earner. The same information. It's the same information. It's just applied on a different level. And these are the basics. It gets deeper than that, though. But I'm teaching you guys the basics. This is the basic information when it comes to self-image. It's not about what you want. It's about who you become. Who you become then gets what you deserve, which is the goal that you've been asking for. And that's how it works. Super simple and very easy. All right, fam. So with that being said, that wraps up today's call. If you guys got value from this morning's self-image basics call, put a 333 in the chat box, okay? Put a 333 in the chat box, all right? Go out there and develop yourself into that person that you want to be. Who is the best version of Corinne? The best version of Cedric? The best version of Christina? The best version of Mary? The best version of Lorraine, of Shelby, of Nicole, of Emmy, of Kadeem, of Gloria? Who are the best versions of you guys? What are the qualities that they have? Develop those qualities. And once you develop those qualities, keep those qualities long enough until what you deserve becomes your reality. And as simple as it sounds, is as simple as it is, but it's about putting in that work now. It's about waking up every morning and working on yourself. It's about being conscious of the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis. It's about realizing when that situation shows up in your life, whether you're going to react or whether you're going to respond. When your loyalty gets tested, it's about staying loyal. You see how that works? Loyalty gets tested. The best version of yourself was a loyal person. You said that the best version of yourself is loyal and has integrity. Well, when it comes time to prove your loyalty and prove your prove your loyalty and prove your integrity, you better keep it clean. You better keep it solid, because that's what it's going to come down to. All right, fam. So thank you guys so much for hopping on. Guys, subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel. We're almost at the goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm getting a lot of things fixed with my YouTube as well. We're going to organize the videos. We're going to put thumbnails behind them, descriptions. There's a lot of things that need some work. So I'm actually going to pay somebody to fix it all up and make the whole YouTube look super dope and organized with videos, and just delete a lot of stuff and just organize a lot of things that need to, be organized. But if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. If you haven't, turned on the post notifications, turn them on, like this video, leave a comment below this video. I would appreciate it. If you haven't gotten your Mornings with Nano journal, okay, there's a beautiful Mornings with Nano journal that you guys can get. It's filled with a lot of value, and you guys can, get it on Amazon. I'm going to drop the link in here if you guys want to grab it. It's the Mornings with Nano journal. It comes with gold cards. It comes with, trainings in them, a place for you to take notes, everything that you need all in one place. Is super dope. You could get it on Amazon for, less than $20. I think it's like $22. So it's amazing, and I'd appreciate the support, fam. So with that being said, quick prayer, and let's get out of here. Everybody bow your heads. Let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Wednesday morning. This morning was filled with grace, and it was filled with abundance. And we are just so thankful for the daily messages that you continue to pour into us. Every message that you decide to speak through me to the family on a day-to-day basis is just so aligned with what we need each and every single day. It's amazing how you're able to show us the keys and the certain tactics that we must use in order for us to become those best versions of ourselves, because we understand that we must become the change that we want to see in the world. And it's not about what we want, it's about who we become. And every day we are working to become the best version of ourselves. So we ask God that you continue to give us the guidance that we need to become the best version of ourselves. We ask that you continue to guide us during this journey, and any healing and anything in particular that we need healing from, any traumas, any bad things that people said about us. I ask God that you clear us of those negative consultations and those negative things that held us back for so long, Father. We appreciate you so much. We love you so much. We love the dog who's barking right now and trying to, disrupt us, but we appreciate you for everything. We love you so, so, so much for all that you're doing for us. Our words, our gratitude for you is through the roof, and let's go out there and have a blessed day filled with your love, filled with your abundance. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 All right. So with that being said, what a great call. Amen. 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 The dog is turning up right now upstairs. But with that being said, guys, I hope all of you guys have a great, great day. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram as well. Long live Nano. Okay. And then my other Instagram is the Mornings with Nano page. Mornings with Nano. And let's get it rocking. I'm going to go have some good breakfast, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Mornings with Nano. Love you. I appreciate y'all, and let's go.